Hello everyone, thanks for joining us here on Press TV's Top 5. And I will begin with the new evidence having emerged from Yemen traces U.S. complicity in Saudi war crimes far beyond last month's deadly airstrike on a school bus. The CNN cited evidence collected by Yemen-based human rights group Muatana, which shows fragments of U.S.-made bombs used against civilians by Saudi Arabia. Some of the incidents date back to 2015. That's when Saudi Arabia started its offensive against Yemen. Among the weaponry used are cluster and laser-guided bombs, some weighing up to 300 kilograms. Among the incidents are an October 2015 airstrike on a school in Hodeidah and an early 2018 strike on a wedding in Hajjah province, which killed 21 people, including children. Muatana insists U.S. bears legal and moral responsibility for selling weapons to the Saudis. Joining us now out of Madison, Wisconsin is James Fetzer, Professor Emeritus at University of Minnesota, Duluth. Hello, Professor. It's a pleasure to have you join us back on the program. Sir, now, basically what this news story is saying that, the Saudis wouldn't be able to kill as many civilians as they're killing in Yemen without help from the U.S. Your thoughts?
Oh, I think they're 100% correct, spot on. We're talking about sophisticated weapons, laser-guided bombs, cluster bombs made in the USA. What could be needed in addition to that to demonstrate U.S. culpability here? And of course, it's one of a whole series of incidents where the United States has been providing weapons to terrorist organizations, in this instance to Saudi Arabia, just as it's been supporting ISIS and Al-Qaeda in Syria, in spite of the fact that the United States claims that Al-Qaeda attacked the United States on 9/11, which was far, far removed from the truth. That was an operation brought to us by the CIA, the neocons in the Department of Defense, and the Mossad.
And when you're speaking of, weapons that sophisticated, they're laser-guided, they're highly precision, weaponry. Why is it, is it the incompetence of the Saudis, or is it utter neglect, or is it, I don't know, intent when they're, it's going straight after infrastructure, weddings, funerals, UN shelters, schools, school buses, 40 kids killed, a few weeks ago on that school bus. When Washington knows the Saudis are this deliberate in their attacks on civilians, why are they still selling them weapons?
Well, it's shameful, but the fact is that the American government has shown no conscience, no principle whatsoever. Look, if it can enter into the P5+1 negotiation with Iran and have a fully certified international agreement and then withdraw on fabricated grounds, you understand you're dealing with an untrustworthy government. The United States no longer deserves to be regarded as a serious leader of the free world. They are representing the greatest terrorist state in the world, which is supplemented by this only slightly lesser Israel, and now Saudi Arabia is making it a close race for second place.
Okay, well, there are laws, international accords in place for selling weapons to a regime is using those weapons to commit war crimes, especially against a civilian population. Why is the U.S. able to curtail or circumvent international law and be complicit in selling the Saudis and the U.K. and France, selling the weapons they're using against people?
Well, the United States is acting as though it were a mafia organization, evading the law, denouncing the International Criminal Court. John Bolton recently made completely outrageous statements about if any war crime accusations were brought against an American or an Israeli, that they'd suffer consequences from the United States. That's reprehensible on its face. That's disgraceful conduct. John Bolton has no business being the national security advisor to the President of the United States. I think it would be very meritorious for Yemen, the Houthis, and others to bring charges against the United States into the International Criminal Court and announce to the entire world what everyone actually knows, but as a formal move, a formal gesture in a court of law.
Thank you for joining us, Professor. That's Professor James Fetzer, Professor Emeritus at University of Minnesota, Duluth, joining us out of Madison, Wisconsin.